Hey, my next guest is really kind of what I would call the poster child of Norman Young Life. She's been involved as a wildlife, junior high young lifer. She was involved with Young Life in high school. She became a volunteer leader while in college at OU. She was on part-time staff with Young Life in Norman. She went on full-time staff as a wildlife director. And then we launched her out to be here as one of the pastors here at Journey Church, working with College Journey. Please welcome my friend Tracy Carlson.
Brown-eyed girl, brown-eyed girl.
Yeah, that's yours. Here's what I would play, yeah.
Oh, baby.
Woo! Tracy Carlson in the house. This is fun. Okay, what was it like? You said earlier you saw Donna Garcia, Gerald, Amy. Who did you said Amy Little was out there. You said
Your
you'd
wife,
seen my wife,
Marseille,
Elaine, like all of
Abby
these.
Billingsley.
Abby
Like
Billingsley,
the
all these
four
mentors.
women in my life who just like corrected, directed. I mean, everything just gave me spiritual guidance. So I was extremely overwhelmed when I walked in tonight.
My goal right now is to make you cry in that chair,
Probably
right?
will happen.
If you cry, they'll give more money. That's what I
okay.
heard.
My husband told me not to cry tonight, though.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about your husband. You guys met, I mean, you knew each other, but you were one of the met and marrieds in Young Life.
Yes, absolutely. He came in as a freshman and started going through Young Life training. I was a sophomore, already a leader, I know. Getting him young. But he started pursuing me, and we got to do Young Life together, take kids to camp, and so.
He's awesome. I'm still upset he never lived in the Young Life building, though. Wah, wah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but tell us, you got involved with Young Life when you were in middle school, like 6th grade?
Well, actually, Melanie's here tonight, and she took me. She was a 7th grader, and I was a 5th grader, and I had to hang out at her house a lot. And she took me as a 5th grader, so I actually snuck in really early.
You are kidding. I've never known
I know.
that.
Well, I don't let a
I
lot
need
of
to
people
make a
know.
phone call. No, I'm just joking. So you went, where did you go to camp the first year?
The first year I went to camp, you were there. We
Oh, in
went
94?
to Castaway,
Castaway.
after my 7th grade
Now,
year.
were you coming to club before then, or did you
Yeah,
just
I was
hear-
at the Marines' house, and I saw a video about Young Life Camp, and they were doing like parasailing and ziplining, and I thought, there's some really hot guys in that video. I'm definitely going to camp this summer.
And who did you, like, how did you know to go to the Marines? Because Bruce and Christy Marine basically built, when they built their house, they basically built this upstairs part, kind of like mirroring Turner and Marcine Primrose's house,
Yep.
where they have like a little game room up there, and that's where they had Wildlife Club for years. So how did you know to go to this house and what wildlife was?
Well, Melanie, like I said, Melanie took me, and I think when I got in 6th grade, I was like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to invite everybody I know. So it was just at the Marines' house. My mom would like drive up and drop me off, and I would hang out at Young Life, and then she'd come back and pick me up. So.
And you went to Castaway, and there you met Christ, or?
No, I did not meet Christ. I thought
Why'd
I
you
knew.
go to Castaway?
Well, I thought I knew everything about the Lord, so I was just going for a good time and to meet guys. Sorry. And I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Success.
Sorry, Chris.
Success.
7th grade.
Yeah. What, we got one for that? Chris is going,
Oh, man!
but then he was like,
Hello.
changed his voice there. But then you went that second year. I have a little picture. I'm going to show you
Oh,
this.
yeah.
I want to tell you
Let me see.
what's going on in this picture right here.
Oh, I am serious. Look at
I
that.
know. I don't know why you're so angry.
That's
But
when we were at Castaway.
is this at
Yeah,
Castaway?
That was at Castaway. So
You
then
were
we,
probably angry because you didn't come to know Christ in this.
I did not.
at
I was
this
like,
week.
why are we in the cabin with a bunch of girls? There's some guys outside.
Yeah, that's exactly why. I remember some of those girls that were there.
Yeah. So Jen Blake, awesome leader. So I get back from Young Life Camp, and they're like, I'm telling all my friends about Young Life Camp. I cannot wait to go to Young Life Camp the next year, and they tell me that I have to invite 3 friends in order to be able to go back to Young Life Camp. So I started selling it to all of my girlfriends, and I got 3 people to sign up. The next year, we went to Florida, and we went down to Southwind, and I just went into the week thinking, like, I already know all this stuff. I'm going to meet some more guys. This is going to be a really great week. So clearly my focus was really good.
Because you wouldn't have, looking back on who you were back then, you wouldn't consider yourself like a rough kid or the furthest out kid. You were kind of still lost,
Yeah.
but you were kind of in the mainstream of what
Yeah,
else
in the
went.
mainstream, and you know, I wasn't making a lot of bad choices. Obviously, my focus was off, but yeah, went to camp. Super excited for my friends to have the same experience I did, and I think it was night 3 at camp. The speaker was talking to us, and he challenged us with a question and just said, hey, if you were to die tonight, are you sure that you would go to heaven?
Oh, the old standby.
I know.
If you were to meet you were to die tonight, where would you go?
Very non-young
So
life.
he sends us out,
Yeah.
you go out and you're supposed to spend like 15 minutes under the
Oh,
stars.
so you go out, you go out by yourself.
Go out by myself, and
Were you able to do that, or were the boys one?
no, I was good. I did it all by myself, and I remember looking at the stars under these palm trees because we're in Florida, and I really started pleading with the Lord. I was like, I really want to be confident in this, Lord. I really want to know that I know, because for this long time, I kind of thought that I had this whole Jesus and relationship with God thing figured out, and I want to be really confident. So I just started crying and pleading to the Lord that he would just give me some kind of confirmation that if I died, that I would go to heaven. And for the very first time, I heard that still small whisper that said yes. And so I was excited to run up to my one of my leaders, Ron Brandenberger, and talk to him more about that. And so, yeah.
That's what, we often joke in Young Life, because we send kids out under the stars, and so many kids, they're out there, they're like, Lord, just show me a sign. And a lot of times there's, already shooting stars and everything. We always joke that the head leaders will be behind the club room with Roman candles. Oh, there's my sign.
That's a
Okay,
great
yeah.
idea.
But that didn't happen with you.
No.
So you get back home, and obviously Young Life leaders, the coolest thing that I learned, and it was that summer in '94, is that when the week ended, I was so bummed because the week was over and my guys just gave their life to Christ.
Yeah.
But then I realized I get to get on the bus and go home with them. So
Yeah.
you had a leader that you
Oh my
continue
gosh,
to meet
Jen
with.
Blake was so fantastic. She said, okay, guys, we're getting home, and we're getting in Bible study, and we're going to learn the Word, and we'd go over to her house, and she was in college, and so she lived by OU, and so we thought that was super cool that we're going to go and have a Bible study at her house, and so yeah, and we came home, and the next year I decided to go to Young Life Camp again. I was a freshman. I went to Frontier Ranch and loved it, and I remember Veronica White looked at me, and she was like, I started noticing that all these high school students were there, and they were serving, they were cleaning our bathrooms and serving us meals, and I was like, that's pretty cool, and she's like, Tracy, that's the next step, and I was like, I want to do that. So I come home, I tell my mom, next summer I am going to work at Young Life Camp. She's like, great, what, do you get paid? And I'm like, no. I'm going to volunteer for a month, and I'm an only child, so the idea of my mom releasing me to go to Colorado for a whole month, but I can tell you that was when the lights really turned on, that this whole relationship with Christ thing was not about me. Young Life had given me so much, and then all of a sudden it was oh, I have a responsibility in this. And I remember coming home from that summer being I've got to win all my friends to Christ. Everyone has to come to Young Life.
Wow. And then you were a volunteer leader in college.
Well, not yet. Abby Billingsley, actually, I went to go work again at a Young Life camp the next summer, and Abby Billingsley comes home. She's like, hey, I'm going on this backpacking trip. Mike and I are leading it. We're going to take 8 middle school 8th graders that are about to go in high school. I want you to come as a senior leader. So I'm like, a senior leader? Okay, I can do this. And she said, I want you to be a senior leader on this backpacking trip. I think I blocked that out, that we were going to be sleeping in tents in Colorado and getting up at 4 a.m. to go hiking with 8th graders
where do I plug my curling iron in?
Yeah, Kelsey Wicks. Anyways, but Abby has had a lot better ideas than taking 8th graders to Colorado.
Not
for
her
a
best
backpack.
move, huh?
It was not her best move. She has made a lot of better decisions than that. But I remember I came home, and what she was doing is she was setting me up as I was going to be a senior in high school, and there was going to be these freshmen coming into Norman North, and I all of a sudden had this responsibility of these kids are looking up to me, and I've got to make good decisions because, I remember tracking Kelsey down, who were you with? What were you doing? So.
Yeah. And you did, so then you went on to be a volunteer leader.
Yes.
In college, you were part-time, you were some student
Yes.
staff, and then you were on full-time staff with me. I got the
Yes.
privilege, back when you were Tracy Fink.
Tracy Fink
And then
Lindsey
Carlson,
Brasford, or
Lindsey Brasford.
Colas.
Well, Lindsey Colas back then.
Yep.
And then, and now you are one of the College Journey pastors
Yes.
here at Journey Church. So how is your experience and experience in Young Life changed how you pastor and how you minister today?
Absolutely. I think there's several things. I think the main thing was it was all about relationships. It was about building relationships, earning the right to be heard. And so that translates even now whenever I'm ministering to college students, that it's not going to, I just can come in and be like, let me tell you everything you're doing wrong and everything about Jesus and what the Word says. Now it's like, I'm going to build this relationship with you so that I can earn the right to be heard. Also, the other thing is going on their turf. I mean, when I was a middle school leader, we were going to football games and basketball games and cheer competitions. And my family, to this day, I mean, that's what we're doing. We're going to volleyball games. We're going to soccer games. We're going where the students are to be able to meet students and honestly just build relationships with them so that they can come and have an experience with Christ.
In that year at Southwind, at the end of every Young Life camp, if any of the kids during the week have made a decision to follow Christ, and at the last club, they have a thing called Say So, and it's taken after Psalm 107:2, I think. It says, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. They get the opportunity to stand. Did you stand up and say so?
I did. I stood up. I was so nervous because, you know, I'd invited my friends there, and I think, you know, I was like kind of the 8th grader that was there, and there's like all these younger girls, and I didn't want them to be like, dude, you've been faking it this whole time? I thought you said you were a Christian, you know, and now I'm going to like stand up. But I remember just how freeing that was. Like, no, I'm confessing this, and going home, I'm going to live out my relationship with Christ.
And so all these kids stand up, and we really have to encourage people. They're so excited. And really, there's not a lot of things that I would say we measure in Young Life. I mean, we did for the 30 year, but you know, how do you measure relationships? How do you measure the depth of, or the impact of somebody with Christ in their life? And so, but Say So is one of those times. And so everybody stands up, and the camp speaker always says, and I would say if we were doing Say So here, I would say, hey, don't applaud until everybody is gone, because there's hundreds of them that stand. We'd never get through it.
Yep.
And so a lot of the kids they'll do this.
Yep.
You know, that's kind of like their silent applause. Hey, and they do it. And so one of the things that I love about Say So, and we have a video we want to show about it, because I think it really captures exactly what kids want to say, what their God, like what is in them to be able to say yes to Jesus. They've seen all the fun, the Bobby the Bumblebee and their leader that's loved them, and you had campaigners, and she made what, cookies? Was it Cookies in Christ or something? I said y'all ate. What was it?
Christ
what
and kids, what?
Oh, Cookies in Christ. Yeah, you said we went over to Jim Blake's house. She made us cookies.
Christ,
talked about Jesus. And it's really at Say So that I think a lot of this stuff happens, and you go, wow, the Lord is doing great things. So watch this video about Say So. I think you'll agree.